Thank you, Mr. Quillo. Our last presenter is Mac Andrew M. Solano. It is my pleasure to introduce our distinguished speaker, Mac Andrew M. Solano II. Mr. Solano is an accomplished educator and a teacher three at the Department of Education. Mr. Solano earned his bachelor's degree in computer engineering and his master's degree in information technology. His academic achievements reflect his dedication to continuous learning and his passion for the field of education. As a teacher three, Mr. Solano is highly regarded by his colleagues and students alike for his innovative teaching methods and his commitment to student success. He has a gift for inspiring and motivating his students to reach their full potential. Mr. Solano's expertise in computer engineering and information technology is a wide-ranging, and he has a wealth of knowledge to share with us today. He is well-versed in the latest trends and innovation in the field and is always eager to share his insights and perspectives. As a speaker, Mr. Solano is engaging and eligible, with the gift of explaining complex ideas in a clear and concise manner. His presentations are always informative and thought-provoking and are sure to leave a lasting impression. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Mac Andrew M. Solano II as he shares his expertise and insights with us today.
Good morning, everyone. I am Mac Andrew M. Solano II, and I am the next presenter for data analytics. Let me start with my objectives. So the purpose of this study analytics is to compare the academic performance of grade 12 students in media and information technology subject by the use of three teaching methods. One, the website as a teaching and learning tool. Two, with the normal learning delivery, which uses only TV or projector and laptop for classes. And three, the traditional way of teaching and learning process, which is no technology at all. Question number one, is there a significant difference between the academic performance of grade 12 students between male and female with the website used for teaching and learning process? So the second question of my research is that is there a significant difference between the academic performance of grade 12 students using the website and not using the website for teaching and learning process? So there are two scenarios here, by the use of the website, and the other one is without using the website. So I would like to compare the academic performance. Is there a significant difference or is there no significant difference? Then number three, are there significant differences in the academic performance of grade 12 students using the website, not using the website, but with technology, and purely lecture or traditional for teaching and learning process? So there are three data set that I will be using this time. One is for the using the website or the LDP, Learning Delivery Platform. Second is without using the website but using technologies like TV, laptops, and computers, cell phones. And the other one is without using any technology. So is there, I want to compare if there is a significant difference in terms of academic performance of the students. And number four question is that what is the correlation between the speed of the website, security of information, sufficiency of data, and ease of use of the website in the academic performance of students using the website as the primary tool for teaching and learning process? Here, I want to describe or to know the correlation between the website's performance and to the students' performance. Thus, really, the website's security, sufficiency of data, ease of use, and speed correlates or has to do with the performance of the students, or does the website really affects the performance of the students? So that's the question. So let's go to justification. It is important to know that the use of technology on, such as online and offline platforms can help in the effectiveness of students' learning, not only in EMIL subjects but also for the other subjects as well. The comparison between the traditional and the use of technology will show as a big impact on the performance of students. Creating our own, which has exclusivity in the use of website, can help in the teaching and learning process, especially during calamities, pandemic, and other unexpected phenomenon that happens. The success of the learning delivery platform will help others understand its importance, and it can also be used for students who prefer distant learning because of several reasons like sickness, work, and home distance. So the data used are the grades and responses of each student in the survey while using the website for learning. The grades where TV and laptop for learning is used and without the use of any of these technologies, which is referred to as traditional way of teaching. It is the best data to test if it is significant in the learning of students in senior high school. In question number 1, the dataset used are the grades of the students using the LDP and their gender. In question number 2, the dataset used are the grades of students using the LDP and without the use of LDP, and compare it if there is a significant difference using Weil-Coxon's maths paired test. The Weil-Coxon maths paired test is used because there is no symmetry on the data that I have collected. So perhaps there are differences. For question number 3, the dataset used are the grades of the students in 3 learning conditions, which are with the use of LDP, with the use of gadgets only, and traditional teaching. In question number 3, this is a non-parametric data because there are no symmetry on the data, because when I use descriptives in JASPs, the data shows abnormal distributed population. So that's why we will use the non-parametric tests. And for the question number 4, the dataset used for linear correlation is the responses of the students to the website speed, security, ease of use, and sufficiency of data that can affect the academic performance of students. So the purpose is to see or to predict if there is correlation or influence of the website speed, security, ease of use, and sufficiency of data in the performance of the students using the website. The analytical methods used, number 1, statistical techniques are non-parametric. Mann-Whitney U-test to compare the academic performance of students with the use of the learning delivery platform or the LDP and without the use of LDP. A non-parametric test using Weil-Coxon's maths paired test is also used to compare the academic achievement of male and female. Kroskal-Wallace age test is used to compare the 3 conditions of learning, which are with the use of the LDP or the website, with the use of other technologies like TV, computers and laptops, and with the traditional teaching and learning process. And on the last question, the linear correlation is used to test if there are correlations between the speed of the website, security of information, sufficiency of data, and ease of use of the website in the academic performance of students. So for question number 1, is there a significant difference between the academic performance of grade 12 students between the male and female with the website use? for teaching and learning process, we will use just application to check the normality of the population distribution. So we have a data actually. We will just open the JASP's application. Then we will locate the file by simply clicking on open, computer, then let's browse. The data is already typed in. So here is the data. Now we will conduct first the descriptives using only the with LDP, so that we can see if there is normality on the data on the data set. So click on descriptives. Okay. Then click on with LDP. So here with LDP means the use of the learning delivery platform for learning. Okay, so these are their grades, and these are the gender, male, female. The number of male and female is not the same, and that makes it the data set not symmetric. So let's try to click here on the LDP, then for the gender, for the split. Okay, so then let's go to the output. As we can see here, no value. We use the minimum. We remove also the minimum, maximum. We will use only the skewness, kurtosis, and Shapiro-Wilk tests. So as you can see here, the skewness should be 0 for symmetry. But if the value of the skewness for male and female is not 0, then means that or it is not normally distributed. And also the kurtosis value should be 3, but in our case we have negative 0.896, which means that this is so negatively skewed, and it is platycortic, and it means that the data distribution is not normal. If this is the case, we cannot use the independent t-test for this sample, for this data set. So we will use the non-parametric, which is the Mann-Whitney test. Okay. So the student is for the parametric, and the Mann-Whitney is for the non-parametric tests. So we will again move this to the dependent variables, and the gender is to the grouping variable. So as we can see, that the independent t-test shows that there is a significant difference between the male and female in terms of the academic performance of the students. If we write this in an APA format, so it will say that a Mann-Whitney test indicated that the grade is greater for female, median is equal to 82, than for male, median is equal to 79, where U is equal to 6, and P is equal to 0.001, which is smaller than the alpha. So if we're going to look at the for question number 1, is there a significant difference between the academic performance of grade 12 students between male and female with the website used for teaching and learning classes. So here, we're going to compare the academic performance of male and female students. So we will use JAST for the t-tests, or first, before going to use the t-test, we will use the descriptives in order to check for normal distribution of data. So let's open JAST and click on the data. So I name it as independent t-test first. Then here we can see that there is the grades of the students with LDP, with the use of LDP or Learning Delivery Platform, and on the other side is the gender. So let's try to click descriptives there, and let us add with LDP as our variables and gender as the split. So at the rightmost, we can see the descriptive statistics. So here under the statistics, let us see, let us remove other, which is not needed. So let's use median, skewness, kurtosis, chapter wealth, then maximum, minimum, we remove that, so we need only the standard deviation. So if we're going to look at the data, we can see that the median is 82, and the other one for male is 79, for female is 82. The mean is 82.901, and for male is 80.87. And for the test of symmetry, we can see that the skewness is 0.04 and 0.730. If the skewness is not 0, then it is not symmetrically distributed, or there is no symmetry in the distribution of the population. So it is not normally distributed. So the skewness should be 0 for symmetry. So if not, then there is no normal distribution among the populations. So for the kurtosis, it shows that it has a negative value, which is negative 0.896 and negative 0.544. So this means that the kurtosis is tachycortic and it is not normal. We can say that the kurtosis is normal if the value is 3. So if it is less than 3, it's not normal. If it's greater than 3, it's not also normal. So therefore, the data distribution is not normal. In the Shapiro wealth, or the p-value for the Shapiro wealth, you can see that it has 0.001. So this is a strong indication that the data set is not normally distributed. So because of this, we will use a t-test, which is a non-parametric test. The Mann-Whitney test is used for non-parametric tests. So here, the parametric test is student. So we will use Mann-Whitney for the non-parametric tests. Now we click on the with LDP and transfer it to this dependent variables, and the gender for the grouping variable. So we can see that the p-value in the independent t-tests using Mann-Whitney u-tests is 0.001, which is less than the alpha, which is 0.05. This means that there is a significant difference between the two. And in an APA format, we can say that a Mann-Whitney test indicated that the grade is greater for female, median is equivalent to 82, So if we're going to go back here, here's the median. Then for male, the median is 79 and the U is 6 and the p-value is 0.001. For question number 2, in using the JAS application, is there a significant difference between the academic performance of grade 12 students using the website and not using the website for teaching and learning process? So here we will going to use the data for paired t-test. So let us open JAS and open the data. So this time we will use the paired t-test value. So here, based on our question, is there a significant difference between the academic performance of grade 12 students using the website and not using the website? We are trying to compare the use of website and without the use of website for the academic performance of grade 12 students. So now, we have here the data sets without LDP or without the use of the learning delivery platform or the website, and with the use of the learning delivery platform. Then we have also here the gender, but we are concerned only with these two. So we will use paired t-test for this. First, we will test the distribution normality of the population. First is that we're going to click on the descriptives. And we will use these two as our variables and the gender as our split. Okay. So for the statistics, again we will use the mode median standard deviation with the skewness, kurtosis, and the Shapiro-Wilk tests. So as you can see here, the skewness is the test for the symmetry of the data set. So as we can see here, without LDP, for male there is negative, for male there is positive, for female this is positive and still positive. So for without LDP, negatively skewed and positively skewed. So they are on both sides, but there's no symmetry because the skewness is not equal to 0 and it is negatively skewed. And also for the female, here it's not equal to 0. If we're going to look at the kurtosis, so all are negatives, which means that these are platycortic and the values are less than 3, and the values are less than 3, so which means that our data set is not normally distributed. Then the p-value for the Shapiro-Wilk is 0.001, which is a strong indication our data distribution is not normal. There is no symmetry on the data set. So which means that we cannot use paired t-tests, but instead we will use the Wilcoxon rank sum test. So we will click here on the paired t-tests. Okay, then click on the two variables in pair there without LDP and with LDP. Then we will use, instead of student, we will use Wilcoxon and we will add some descriptives there. So as you can see that from this test, we can see that there is a significant difference because the p-value is 0.001. So in APA format, we can say that a Wilcoxon's rank tests indicated that without LDP was statistically higher than with LDP because Z is 5.534 and the p-value is less than the alpha, which is 0.05, and its value is 0.001. For question number 3, using just application, the question is, are there significant differences in the academic performance of grade 12 students using the website, not using the website, but with technology, and purely lecture or traditional for teaching and learning process? This particular question, we are trying to find significance in the academic performance between students using the website, not using the website, but with technology such as TV, computer, laptop, projector, and cell phones. And the other one is purely lecture or the traditional way of teaching and learning process. So let us open the data in JAST so that we can see the output. So we will use this data because this is the data for the question number 3. So these are the grades, and on the other side is the conditions. So we have 3 conditions here: condition 1, condition 2, and condition 3. So first, what we're going to do is to conduct a descriptives on the data set. First, the grades. We will move the grades to the variables. Then condition to split. So in the statistics, we remove valid, missing, minimum, maximum, skewness, kurtosis, and Shapiro work should be checked. So let us examine the descriptive statistics. So as we can see here, the skewness is negative for condition 1, and that is negative 0.120, and positive on conditions 2 and 3. So this the skewness indicates that there is no symmetry in all of the variables, that the population is not normally distributed. So the kurtosis also shows a negatively skewed graph. So it means that there is no normal distribution among the population. And for the Shapiro wealth, we can see that the value or the p-value for the Shapiro wealth for condition 1 is 0.07, condition 2 is 0.001, and 0.001 also for condition 3. This is a strong indicator that the population is not normally distributed. So which means that we cannot use ANOVA for this because ANOVA is for parametric test only. So this one will use Kroskal-Wallis tests for non-parametric tests. So first, to do that, first we go to ANOVA, then click on ANOVA. Well, we add this one to the dependent variable and the condition to the X factors. Then we go to the assumption checks. So we have assumption checks now. We go to the post hoc tests, or gives a statistical difference among the different methods of teaching. So, and also we will click on the Shapiro wealth and the non-parametrics to see if there is a significant difference among the teaching conditions. Okay. So here we can see in the ANOVA we have the p-value, which is 0.001, and for post ad hoc, a comparison of condition 1 and condition 2, we have the p to k, which is 0.044, which is less than 0.05, which means that there is a significant difference between the two, condition 1 and 2. And for condition 1 and 3, we have the p to k 0.001, which has significant difference with 1 and 3. And for number 2, still, we have the value of p to k, which is 0.001, which indicates that there is a significant difference between the teaching condition 2 and teaching condition 3. The Kruskal-Wallis shows in APA format that a Kruskal-Wallis H-test shows that there was a statistical difference in grades between the different teaching methods, where x sub 2 or x squared times 2 is 45.074 and p-value is 0.001 with the mean grades of 79.48 for traditional, 81.607 for with LDP, and 82.82 without the use of LDP.
For question number 4, what is the correlation between the speed of the website, security of information, sufficiency of data, and ease of use of the website in the academic performance of the students using the website as the primary tool for teaching and learning process? Here, what we are trying to determine is the correlation of the 4 variables or the predictors with the academic performance of the students. So to determine if the 4 predictors variables, which are the speed, security, sufficiency of data, and ease of use, can predict the academic performance of students using the LDP, first we run a quick descriptives using the JASP. So let us open first JASP application. And let us use the data that we have typed here already. So I name it as correlation. Okay. So here are the data sets. So we have 4 independent variables: speed, security, sufficiency, ease of use, and 1 dependent variables. Now for the descriptives, we're going to click on descriptives and click on the variables and transfer it here. After that, we click on statistics because we are only interested with the mean and the standard deviation. So after the descriptives, we will now go to the multiple regression. So we will click the regression, then correlation. Then here, in the variables, we need to input the dependent variable first, the independent variables. So if we're going to look at the person's correlations and their coefficients, so as you can see that on these coefficients of performance, speed, their correlation is really not that strong. So which means that there is no indication that there is a strong correlation, and we can proceed with our regression. So if the variables are not strongly correlated, then we are safe. But what does it mean if it is strongly correlated? So if the values here is greater than 0.70, then there is a really rather strong correlation between the variables. If there is a strong correlation between the variables, there are 3 things that you can do. First is you can merge some of the variables if it is possible. based from the theoretical um, perspective. Second is that you can remove or delete one of the variable. And third is that you can reanalyze all the variables and run a factor analysis, and then check for factor analysis, which is checking for the collinearity statistics. And also, to check for multi-collinearity, we can look at the coefficients here, and on the collinearity statistics, we can see that the values of the BIF is 1.136, which means 1.159, 1.466, and 1.451, which is lower than 3, a strong indication that there is no collinearity. In multiple regression, there are two things that we are testing for the predictors. One is the collective influence of the dependent variables, and it is also called as the variance explained. So here in our model summary, the R is the correlation coefficient as a whole, or the collective association of the predictive variables. R squared is the variance explained of the predictors that are used on this. So if we're going to multiply 0.016 by 100, we will get 1.6. And the 1.6 means in 100%, there are only 1.6 percent that the combination of 4 can be explained, and the 84% is the other factors that are not explored on this particular study. Next is the test of significance that R2 is different from 0, which means that if R2 significance is 0, then it does not predict the academic performance. To do this, we're going to check on the ANOVA table with p-value if it is less than 0.05. So the p-value of the ANOVA is greater than 0.05, which indicates that the R2 is equal to 0. If the value of R2 is equal to 0, then there is no significant influence by the 4 predictors to the dependent variable. The influence of the variable as a whole, or as one, by looking at the p-value in the ANOVA is 0.805, which means that there is no direct influence when combined as one. But now we are going to look at the individual influence of each of the variable, if there is a unique influence of each of these independent variables. By looking at the p-value of the coefficients, we can say that the speed is 0.302, which is higher than 0.05. And for the security, we have 0.592, which is higher than 0.05. And the sufficiency is 0.05, which is greater than 0.05, the alpha. And ease of use is 0.961, which is greater than the alpha, which is 0.05. So even on the individual influence, we can see that there is no significant influence by the predictors to the independent variables. Thank you very much for listening, and good day.